Alright, for this video we're going to talk about the fundamental theorem of calculus, which actually breaks into two parts. There's a fundamental theorem of calculus part 1 and there's a part 2 as well. And part 1 is, fairly straightforward. I'm just going to write it down here. Basically, the fundamental theorem of calculus has to do with integrals. And if you have an integral of any kind of function, I'm going to call it f of x dx. You can put bounds on this integral. You can say, find the integral from a to b. And basically what we've figured out is that the integral from a to b, what you're going to end up doing is anti-deriving and plugging those bounds in to figure out the answer. The only complication with this is when we first learned about functions and at the start of the school year, I would give you f of x and you would have to derive it. So you would derive it into something like f prime of x. And if you felt like it, you could derive it again and get f double prime of x. And you could kind of continue that process. You could get f triple prime, quadruple prime. But every time you went forward, you were going one derivative up. So I'm going to write over here, derive. If I asked you to go backwards, you'd be anti-deriving. So like the antiderivative of f prime of x dx. We'd all say, oh, that takes you back to f of x. And we might put a little plus c on there or whatever, but we know that it takes you one step back on this chart. So the big question is if I antiderive f of x, I want to take f of x backwards. Well, on this chart, where does that fall? What's before f of x? And the answer is capital F of x. Not super exciting, but that's what it is, capital F of x. So if I'm asking you up here on the fundamental theorem to antiderive lowercase f of x, it's going to be capital F of x. And instead of writing the plus c, because we have these bounds from a to b, remember a and b are just numbers, you put this little bracket on the side and you say from a to b. And basically all you have to do is remember plug in the top and then subtract and plug in the bottom. So we're going to say take capital F, plug in b, subtract, and take capital F and plug in a. And that is the fundamental theorem of calculus. Any antiderivative, you antiderive it, work its way back, and you plug in top minus the bottom, and you get your solution. So that's part 1. In the next video, we'll look at part 2.